Yeah, Laddie Williams. Laddie, we caught you even before you came in. I have to let you know. But Laddie has the global
I was just hiding in the corner.
Yeah, but we caught you in your hiding space. Yeah. But Laddie, I can't believe that the U.S. government is still shut down. It's about 5 days now or something?
Yeah, so it's the second week of government shutdown in the U.S. Quite interesting. I did do some research in Nigeria. We've never had that before.
Oh, no. We're bigger than shutdown.
It doesn't allow us.
We deal with our issues.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's there's still a deadlock right now. But let's get an update on that. We see the U.S. government shutdown. That continues at this point. You see the Republican and Democratic funding bills. They failed to pass in the Senate just yesterday. The GOP measure falling short in a 52-42 vote, and the Democratic proposal, that was rejected at 45-55. They need about 60 votes. If you can put that up for me. Lawmakers are set to resume negotiations and prepare for further votes, in the coming days. So that's what we're expecting next. That's coming, since there's still a deadlock right there in the U.S. So it's still shut down at this point. We'll give you more updates if we get them. Yeah, that's the latest status there. The shutdown continues. The failed negotiations there, and the voting 52-42, that's for the Republican bill there. So what happens next? Continued negotiations and further votes. That's what's expected. Other stories now. We see the World Bank has cautioned that rising U.S. tariffs on Indian export could weigh heavily on South Asia's growth prospects next year, warning that trade tensions and weaker global demand pose new risk to the region's economic outlook. In its latest regional update, the bank noted that while South Asia remains one of the world's fastest growing regions in 2025, tighter trade conditions, high borrowing costs, and lingering inflation could slow momentum in 2026. India, this region's largest economy, is expected to feel the impact most acutely as export-dependent sectors face potential headwinds from Washington's tariff measures there. Then in Australia, they say the consumer sentiment that tumbled in October to a 6-month low as growing fears over inflation, economic uncertainty rattled households, according to a survey by Westpac. The Westpac Melbourne Institute Consumer Sentiment Index slid 3.5% to 92.1 from 95.4 points in September, marking its steepest monthly fall since April 2025, and firmly placing the index below the 100 optimism threshold right there in Australia. Then Constellation Brands, they delivered a mixed earnings report, beating analyst expectations and earnings per share about 15 cents, but missing the mark on revenue. The company posted quarterly earnings per share of $3.63, outpacing the anticipated $3.48, while revenue came in at $2.48 billion, falling short of the 2.51 billion consensus expected. All right, let's get a check on what's happening in the UK now. Our London Bureau Chief, Juliana Olayinka, joins us. Great to have you, Juliana. Good morning. So definitely political issues in major economies at this point, also in the UK. Talk to me about the potential economic and business consequences of the UK Conservatives' controversial immigration plan, particularly for labor shortages, investment confidence, and the country's long-term growth.
Good morning, Laddie. I hope you're well. We are banging the party conference season in the UK, which is a period of 3 weeks during September and October of each year, where the House of Commons is in recess, and basically the big political parties get together to spell out their ideas among members. And this week it has been the turn of the Conservative Party, which is being led by, of course, pretty controversial Kemi Badenoch, who is doing abysmally in the polls. In fact, I think there was a poll out earlier today which showed that more than half of Conservative Party members want her out. So she's not just unpopular in Nigeria. Kemi Badenoch is also unpopular within her own party. And she's under a lot of pressure, as you can imagine. Lots of headlines coming out of the UK at the moment, which is an anti-immigration stance. The Reform Party, which is led by Brexiteer Nigel Farage, has been doing incredibly well in the polls. In fact, I think there was a poll last week that even suggested if there was a general election in the UK tomorrow, Nigel Farage would be Prime Minister. And so Kemi Badenoch has tried to win back some of that far-right support by spelling out a 7-point plan of immigration, quite long and lengthy and boring. But I think the main part of that, which has put some people up in arms, is that she wants a Trump-style deportation plan. I think, a lot of us have been seeing those ICE detentions, which are quite frightening, where they're going to clubs, they're going to schools, and they're basically kidnapping people from the road and deporting them to Mexico. Kemi Badenoch is suggesting something quite similar, although that is very unlikely to happen because I don't think she has more than a couple of weeks left as leader of the Conservative Party. But that's what's happening now. As I said, the House of Commons is in recess, so it's pretty quiet here in the UK, apart from some of those old big names of the past like Priti Patel and others who'll be speaking at the Conservative Party conference this afternoon, Laddie.
Right, I guess we'll keep tracking that. But to the housing market now in the UK, we're seeing data showing prices have posted the first decline since May. That's according to Halifax. Help us unpack this data.
Yeah, that's right. Halifax says UK house prices slipped by 0.3% in September. As you were saying, that's the first monthly fall in quite a while. It's still very, very pricey to live here in the UK. Homes cost just under £300,000. Now, I think the fall may not seem dramatic, but of course, I think since COVID, we've been looking at these house prices quite forensically, and any small tweak does matter. I think sellers now are realizing that buyers are stepping back. I think a lot of people are waiting for Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor of the Exchequer's budget next month to see if there are going to be any goodies for first-time buyers, which of course boosts the housing market. I think the bigger picture is that it's holding steady, but it's softening.
Fantastic. Well, I guess we'll keep tracking those markets, but I guess that's good news at this point. Thank you so much, Juliana, for the details.
Thanks, Laddie.
And that's it for the Global News segment.